5-time state champs in the same household. Anyway,
Yep.
not bad, right? Pretty good family.
Double digits just between those two.
Yeah. Well, and we're live. We're live right now. The Florida Wrestling Room. We've got Coach Nick Soto step into the line, as we affectionately call it. Ricky came up with that name. It was a good name, so we stuck with it. But yeah, just to talk on that, there's been five-time state champs in Florida. I learned this because I read about wrestling now, so I don't sound like I'm stupid when I talk to you guys. So 5 of them, and 2 of them are in the same household, which is those 2 brothers. So that's insane. So yeah, we'll get to them later. I mean, how about 10? It's crazy. So anyway, I'm here with another amazing Florida wrestler, Nick Soto, doing big things. Just took over the helm right at coach at St. Andrews University. He went to high school locally here in Florida, another Florida guy at Springstead. He placed 3 times and he won the whole show twice. So that's awesome. He wrestled at UTC, which is a fantastic program. And they are getting an LHP stud, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. 3-time state champ Noah Castillo. So that's
yeah, they're doing some awesome things over there.
Not a bad thing.
It's definitely fun.
I believe that's where he's going. So that's cool. And then you beat everybody at the SoCon 4 straight times, and you qualified for the NCAA. Got all the way to the final 16, which is huge. So congratulations on your career so far, Coach Soto. I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your cousin reaching out to me and getting me your information. And it's definitely, like I told you off the phone, I'm just a dad having fun, hoping that I can be a voice for this sport. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you're doing. Tell us how your team and your world has been affected.
So right now we're just kind of in the same boat as most places. We're quarantined up, and it's tough being away from the mats. It's tough not seeing the guys and stuff like that. But we're just doing everything that we can to kind of stay safe. We did have a good group of guys. We had an option where you could either go home and then come back in August, or you could finish out the semester, kind of be on campus and stuff like that. So we had a good group of guys stay back. They wanted to focus on academics and still work out if possible, and stuff like that. So I think that was really good. Right now we're building. We're super excited about next season. We just introduced a women's program, and that'll be offered for the 2020-21 season. So we're excited to build there. And
I know we're screaming from the mountaintops that they should sanction women's wrestling, and they should be offered the same things that everyone else is offered. So that's good to have another school putting a program in that will give them an opportunity to go to college. That's fantastic. So you wrestled at UTC, and then coaching at St. Andrews University. So tell us, where is St. Andrews?
We're in Laurinburg, North Carolina. So it's right above the border, kind of like a central area. We're probably 2 hours away from Raleigh,
Nice.
2 hours away from Charlotte, and kind of in that area.
North Carolina seems like they're starting to produce some really good wrestling out there, especially at the college level.
Yeah, for sure. There's a ton of colleges in North Carolina that have wrestling, so bound to happen.
Right. So I know that obviously you want kids to come wrestle for you at St. Andrews. On the other end, what do you tell kids that talk about wanting to go to your alma mater as a wrestler?
I'm always going to push them towards there. I think the experience at UTC was top notch. Like I definitely wouldn't trade it for anything. I was really fortunate to be under really great leadership. Really grateful for the coaches and stuff like that. And I think it's a really cool area. And the coaching staff over there is top notch too. So
you went from amazing Tennessee to amazing North Carolina. You can't beat those 2 locations. That's pretty awesome. So
right.
When did you start wrestling?
I probably started when I was about 3. My dad was a coach at Springstead for a while, and we would me and my brother would wrestle around with each other while the high school practice was going on. So kind of grew up in the wrestling room, really started to travel and stuff like that for competition in around sixth grade, I think. We went to the Liberty Nationals and stuff like that. And then from there, we just kind of sold out to wrestling and really committed to that.
That's cool. I like to ask because there's a lot of wrestlers that have been as successful as you, or maybe just beneath it, just above it, but nothing that's blown. A lot of success at a state championship, or they placed and they didn't start till eighth grade or ninth grade. And then there's kids whose dad coached and started at 3 or 4. And, I get different opinions from different people on what's recommended. And I guess sure, if you could start younger, it's always more better. How's that for English? I did not go to college. So I know it's always better because you get more experience, but is it recommended,
I think it really just depends on the guy or girl. There's people that they'll wrestle, from the time they're 3, they were kind of, they've been in a wrestling environment forever, and that's just kind of another day to them. But there's other people that, they played multiple sports and they learn a lot of different things and a lot of good things from those other sports. They can become well-rounded. And so I think it really just depends on the individual.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we'll get into some questions here about your school and your program that you're at now and what you're building there, which is awesome. One thing I want to ask, and I don't know why I haven't asked anybody this yet, but it just popped into my mind while I was on here with you. What is the difference in the experience of walking, being a wrestler at a high school state championship as opposed to being a wrestler at the NCAA championship? What was it like to experience both of those, and how different or how much of the same were they?
I think for high school, wrestle for a great program and stuff like that. So we went in with the mentality of hey, we're looking to win. We're looking for the first state title for Springstead and stuff like that. So we were, it was great to be a part of that. Man, that's a good question. I think the difference for me, at least, was I think when at the NCAAs, I think it's just a wonky tournament where you can not be seeded and end up taking 5th, or you can be seeded first and go down first round. So it's whoever's on that weekend.
Walking in NCAAs and seeing the best in the world. Even as a young kid, even though you qualified, and you've probably seen those kids your whole life, you got to still be in a little bit of wow, look who's here. I'm here. I made it,
Yeah. You're definitely surrounded by some wrestling greats and stuff like that. You see the big schools that you've been watching growing up.
I'm sure at your level you want to wrestle them. You're like, man, I want to see if I can get them.
Yep. 100%.
My son thought I was a little wacky, but he made it he was at districts this year, and he was in the same weight class as one of the Riveras. So I said, I hope you get one of them. He's like, are you crazy? I don't want to wrestle one of them. I'm like, yeah, but I want to see you do it. So he got him in the quarterfinals, and 30 seconds later he was pinned, but he got to at least experience one of the Riveras.
Yeah.
So it was, fun. I told him, don't worry, that happens to most kids that wrestled him. So
yeah.
It happened. So that's cool. So let's talk about St. Angela a little bit. So what are the core values of your program?
We really believe in, I think our vision is, we want to pursue academic, athletic, personal, and professional excellence. You know, our goal for the guys is for them, you know, we're going to chase, you know, All-American status, national championships and stuff like that. You know, we love wrestling. That's kind of the easy part per se. You know, our goal for our guys is, hey, you know, we want to see you walk across the stage with a degree in your hand and a, you know, clear concrete plan for the next step.
What level?
We believe in sacrifice, attitude, and unity. We're NAIA.
All right, cool. That's
Yep.
that's great. Growing like we just got another. Did we get another NAIA down here in Florida? I saw like St. Thomas.
Yep. St. Thomas. Yep.
That's awesome. So, as far as a typical week for your athletes, what does it look like when they're in season as opposed to when they're out of season?
During season, we're on the mat a lot. So we'll have like a morning session. The guys will usually schedule individuals like around their classes. And then, like the morning session will be light. So we're not tired for class or anything like that, but we'll have like a morning technique session, individuals here and there scattered out throughout the day. And then we'll kick the intensity up at like 3:30. And then 3 days a week, we'll have like a study hall from like 7 to 8:30 or something.
Nice.
And then I think for out of season, we'll be on the mat 2 to 3 times a day. And guys will schedule around their classes too, where, you know, they'll get some extra work in and stuff like that. But we'll still have the study halls, but it's just a lot lighter. We'll hit some freestyle and Greco and kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into transitioning. My next question is, how are you able to help your student athletes or guide them to balancing wrestling and academics?
We spend a lot of time with them. You know, some days we'll see them at 6 a.m. and then, you know, we'll see them 3 times a day and stuff like that. So we do spend a lot of time with the guys. You know, the coaches will be there for every study hall. And then we preach like time management. You know, I think playing a game of Fortnite, you know, the trade-off of, hey, I'm going to sacrifice an hour of Fortnite for, you know, let's get ahead in this class, or let's kind of prepare for this test. I think that trade-off's a lot better. So
no Fortnite during school.
Yeah.
All right. So when
you're right.
If I'm an athlete and I'm trying to get to a college and you're coming to look at a tournament, what are the intangibles that you look for in a student athlete?
I think how they present themselves, meaning, you know, do we mix well, for like a coach to athlete relationship? You know, are you going to be able to talk with us, or are you going to feel comfortable, you know, telling us how things are going and stuff like that? I think, the relationship part and the ability to build a relationship there is probably the most important to us. We look at academics. Obviously there's going to be different levels. Like some guys are going to be rock stars coming out of high school academically, and some guys are going to need some more guidance. So, you know, we'll work with that, but then, and then the last part, we'll look for, you know, wrestling and, credentials and work ethic and mentality and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Coach Lindsay Dahl over at Freedom. She's like, woohoo, women's wrestling. She comments.
Yep. No, we're excited about it. We are.
That's awesome.
We're definitely pumped to get going.
Cool, man. So, I'm an athlete that has a lot of NAIA schools looking at me, and St. Andrews is one of them. Why do I choose you over the other ones?
We're invested in our guys. You know, we want to make every effort to make sure that our guys have, you know, not only the training and stuff like that they need, but we're invested with them, you know, academically, athletically. We have academic goals. You know, we build strong relationships with them. You know, throughout the day, we got guys coming by the office just to kind of shoot the breeze before class. So, you know, it is like a family here, and the guys mix really well together. We got a good group in
How
there.
about all the Florida wrestlers that are running or involved in all these NIIA programs? That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of guys are getting around, and it's really cool to see too.
So, most memorable match in your career?
I think probably my match with BJ Futrell. We went up there. It was like my maybe fourth college match ever. We went up there, and Coach Hatcher gave us like the best speech ever. And I was just kind of on fire. And that was like the turning point for me, was like, hey man, I can actually wrestle with these guys, and and really scrap with them. So that was.
You hear that? You hear that when I ask. You might hear me ask that question a lot to you guys, because I feel like there's always that one that was like, wow, like I said something earlier, like NATO was like this freshman match he had against a guy that was a 2-time champion, and he won. He was like, oh, wait a second, I belong.
Yep.
Or a lot of you wrestlers just remember the losses. Like I was talking to Scotty Sentes, who's in North Carolina too.
Yep.
And he only remembers the 3 high school losses. He said he doesn't remember the 215 wins.
Man, that's crazy. Yep.
That's insane, right? 215-3. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he was a monster on top too. That guy would turn everybody.
Yeah, Phoebe was like, "You never shoot for his legs."
Yep. Yeah, he's a freak of nature for sure.
So, before we wrap this up a little bit, talk a little bit about Florida wrestling and where it's. You've been around it since you're 3. You're obviously a functioning adult now, so you've been doing it for a long time.
Yep.
Have you seen Florida wrestling come from to where it is today, and where can it go as far as the Pennsylvanias, Ohio's, Iowa's, Dakotas, whatever, California's?
I think the big thing that I've noticed is when we were in high school, we didn't have a ton of clubs. I think there's a lot more clubs, which is really, building some more depth in Florida. And, it's giving guys and girls, a ton of opportunity to wrestle in the off season and chase that, national competition. As far as, I see a ton of clubs popping up, and I think that's like one of the biggest differences that I've seen so far. But, now Florida's got guys that they're getting on the podium at the NCAA level and stuff like that too, which is awesome to see. It's become more and more common.
Yeah, there's a few good ones over at Iowa, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. There you go.
That's awesome. Well, man, hey, let me ask you a few questions and one word answers. I usually can do okay with these. I just have to remember. Let me find them here. I got to keep them on hand because I don't remember all the ones that he sends me. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Folk style or freestyle?
Folk style.
Headgear or no headgear?
No headgear.
Everybody says the same. Singlet or 2-piece?
Some of the 2-pieces are really cool, but I got to go with the singlets.
Yeah, Yanni said singlet, but he thinks 2-piece is good for the sport.
Yep.
Yeah. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero, perfect.
I like a static Coke.
Cake or birthday cake?
Birthday cake all the way.
Salt water or fresh water?
I'll go with salt water for sure.
Rap or country?
I like both, but I'll go with rap.
Yeah, I like rap too.
Yeah.
Car or pick-em-up truck?
Car.
Popeyes or Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A for sure.
Ocean or swimming pool?
Probably Ocean.
Brands or Sanderson?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Brands.
Awesome. Hey, man, I really appreciate you coming on. And you are welcome on the show anytime you want. Just click the link and sign up, and we'll chat. Hopefully, once we get everybody back in the rooms, there'll be a lot more to talk about. So we can talk about matches and how you're doing and seasons going, off season. So it'll be awesome. And if you're when you're back home, give me a shout. I'd love to meet you.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Anytime. And anybody you want to share my link with that's in the wrestling community, please do, and tell them they're welcome to come on anytime.
Okay. Will do. Yeah.
All right, buddy. You take it easy. Thank you again.
Thanks. You too.